Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. You're watching Duty's Daggers. We have a review on the Leatherman Crunch today. But first of all, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and do it. We're almost to 1,000. We're almost at, we're just about 800 right now. And I really would like to get to 1,000 by Christmas time. So, yeah, do me a favor and subscribe. This is a cool channel. We talk about cool stuff. Look at cool stuff, and you'll be happy that you did. Let me let my dog out of the room before we get going here. He does that to me every single time I start filming. It's become a tradition at this point. So, the Leatherman Crunch. Let's get it out of the case here. This is not the case that it comes with. It comes with a nylon sheath. Let me grab it. Just to show you. It comes with this one here, which I really don't like. I think all Leathermen come with these, and I just don't like them. I like the feel of a leather case. I usually get this type, which holds my Leatherman rebar, but they were out of them, so I decided to get this black one. I don't like it as much as this one. This one's called the Heritage sheath, but it'll do for now until these come back in stock. So, don't need to talk about the sheath, really. So, I've really been liking this. I've been carrying it every single day for about a week now, a little bit over, and this thing is just really, really useful. I've been carrying the rebar for the past, gosh, I don't know, almost 5 years now, and this is my primary multi-tool. I love it. I absolutely love it. But my friend Diener was talking about the Crunch with me recently and was telling me that they were being discontinued, and that it was a good tool and that I should get one before they were all gone forever. And he was actually kind enough to get this one for me and send it to me. So I decided to try carrying this as my primary multi-tool at work. And so far, it's really been doing everything I need it to do. It has less tools than a lot of the other Leathermen. It has less tools in the rebar here. But I don't know. The fact that it's a pair of vice grips is really, really useful. So this is not going to be a comparison video between the Crunch and the rebar. I will bring up a couple things, a couple differences between it and the rebar, but this is really just going to be a review on the Crunch. I will probably do a comparison video at a later date. But let's open this thing up. Now you can't open this one-handed. It took me a little bit of practice, but it's really fun to do. Usually if I'm at work, I usually have two hands available, and I want to get it open quick usually, so I just do it two-handed. But it's fun, so check it out. You drop this handle, you break. It's held together by these little snaps. It like snaps together at the top and bottom here. So you break that bottom one, and the left handle falls down. Use your thumb here to pull out the plier heads, and then you kind of bring this one up, and it's a little bit difficult. With these two fingers, you pinch the pliers together, and then you have to, oops, it's kind of hard to do underneath the camera. There we go. So how it works is there's this little nub here on the pliers, and it snaps into its receptacle. Here, let me do it so you can see it better. It snaps into its receptacle right in there, and then it's together. So here it is open, and it's a pair of vice grips. If you happen to not know what vice grips are, it's basically a locking plier. So let me grab something to grab onto here. How it works is you put the jaws on whatever you want to clamp, and then you just adjust this screw back here until you can get that little snap while it tightens around whatever you're grabbing, and then it's just in there. It's clamped in there. It's basically it's a vice, but it's a pair of pliers. So it's a very useful feature. I use this a lot at work. Primarily, I use it for picking up small pieces of metal, grip them in there, clamp them in there, and then I can hold that up to the large belt sander and sand it without having to, keep constant grip on it. It doesn't move around; it's just solidly in there. Another thing I could use it for, I haven't yet, but say I'm tack welding together two pieces of metal. If I don't have a regular C clamp with me, I can just pop that on there, hold them together while I tack it. A couple other odds and ends that I've been using it for, but those are kind of the primary ones. Just really useful if you need to clamp onto things. It's a pair of pliers that you don't have to apply constant pressure to. Now the only thing that's kind of a downside to carrying this as a multi-tool is the plier heads are not really a needle nose. All of the Leathermans have comes down to a finer point here at the tip of the plier head, so you can get into smaller spaces. For me, it's for cleaning out the tip of my MIG welding gun. Having the needle nose here is really nice to get in there and clean it out. I can't do it with this one because it's too thick. But that's not a deal breaker for me, because I also at my workbench have a pair of dedicated MIG pliers, so not necessary. And that's really the only thing that I missed carrying the Crunch over the rebar. So let's kind of go over the tool here. We can compare size first. Open here. Closed, they're pretty much the same size. Open, obviously you have a finer taper here to the tip of the needle nose, so the Crunch is going to be a bit shorter. There are a couple tools here. Let's break this down. So we have a couple tools in the handle here. Let's check them out. We have, it does have a knife on it, just one knife, and it is a serrated knife, which I really don't have a problem with, because I always carry a primary knife with a regular straight edge on it. And what I use my multi-tool knives for are anything that I don't want to use my primary knife for, which is a lot of times cutting zip ties. Zip ties are really hard on your edge on your pocket knife. Anything that I don't want to, I don't want to mess up my blade, I'll break out the blade on the Leatherman to use it for that. So for that type of stuff, having a serrated edge is actually really good, really perfect actually. It's kind of a sheep's foot blade shape with the serrations. It's got a hollow grind. It's sharp. It cuts well. Not super long. Let's see what we got here. About 2 3/16, and then the actual cutting edge is about 1 3/4 inches. So not huge, but definitely enough to cut. All these tools are locking, by the way, similar to the rebar. It's got this tab back here that you push down on, and it releases the tool. Nice snap when the tools close as well, which I always like. Next we have a large pair or a large flathead or pry tool, and we have a smaller flathead or pry tool over there. And then we have a very nice 3D headed Phillips driver. This was one of my favorite things about the rebar, was that it had a 3D Phillips head. Now this one's a bit smaller than the one on the rebar, but it is the only other full 3D Phillips head on a Leatherman that I know about. These are the only two, I believe, the rebar and the Crunch. Now you can see the difference between the two here. The one on the rebar is definitely thicker, more heavy duty, but the fact that it's a 3D head on there on the Crunch is really cool. I really like that. Most of them on Leatherman are just kind of the thin, it's not 3D, it's just thin, and they don't work as well when they're like that. So having this is really cool. I'm really happy they have that on there. And then the final tool is a file, which was the other thing on the rebar that I used a lot. So this thing really has all the tools on the rebar that I used most. This file is a bit smaller than the file on the rebar. This one on the rebar is just badass, dude. This is a really good file. But like the rebar, it actually has teeth on the edge as well, right here. So that's just awesome, man. Like, before I got the Crunch, I didn't do a whole lot of research into what tools it had, and I was very, very pleasantly surprised to learn that it had all my favorite elements of the rebar in the Crunch, just a little bit smaller and a little bit less heavy duty. So, I mean, it's just so cool, man. It's like they knew. It's like they knew that these were the tools I wanted on here. You also have a ruler, metric and standard on the back here, which I never use. The rebar has it too, right there. But it's there. So those are the tools, and then you have obviously the vice grips. Now there is a hidden feature here as well. If you unscrew the tensioner, I guess you'd call it, tensioner bolt for the vice grips, there's actually a bit driver right in there. Check that out. And it's actually it retains them somehow, so they don't fall out. I'm not sure exactly how. There's like a snap like halfway in there. So man, you have all the tools, all the good tools on the rebar, a little bit smaller, a little bit less heavy duty, and you have a bit driver for interchangeable bits. That is just awesome, man. You could stick the Leatherman ratchet extension on here. You could stick any extension that you have in here. It would probably work a lot better with the extension. It's pretty close to the frame there, but it would absolutely work. And with the extension, it's just really nice, man. You get a good grip on it. You can really torque on it. Such a cool feature, man. Like, whoever thought of hiding that in this hole was a genius. I love that. So this thing's got a lot going for it, man. Really got a lot going for it. The only real downside that I see is the lack of having a needle nose pliers. But having the ability to clamp onto things as you're holding them, is just awesome. You really don't realize how convenient it's going to be until you have this. Maybe you carry a pair of vice grips in your truck or your toolbox, but having it right on your belt is really, really nice. Now, another thing I forgot to mention is it's got some actually very functional wire strippers right here. There's a little notch right in here. Actually, I did a video on Instagram demonstrating it the other day. If you want to go watch it, I don't have any wire here with me, but you stick it in this little notch right in there, and then you apply pressure, and it pinches between there and the frame here, and so it's not really cutting it; it's more pinching it. But you pinch it twice, maybe give it a little pinch, rotate it, give it a little pinch, and then pull, and it strips the wire, and it works really well. I wasn't losing any brass or copper or whatever they use in wires. I wasn't losing any of that. It was just taking the insulation off, and it worked really well. I've seen videos of guys stripping some pretty heavy duty gauge wire with this too. So that's just awesome, Another hidden little option here is there's actually a little slot milled into one of the jaws here. You can see that it's going, it's not going perpendicular to the jaws. It's going this way, and that enables you to clamp something with a T-shank on it, or something with a smaller shank, like a jigsaw blade or something. It allows you to clamp it in the jaws here, and it won't have any side-to-side motion because it's sitting inside this groove, which is again, whoever thought of that was just really on top of it. I saw a video of this guy. He had like a 12-inch wood saw clamped into these things, and it turned the Leatherman into basically the handle for the saw, and he was just sawing down a little tree, and it worked awesome. So I haven't tried it yet. I know it works. I've seen videos, and it's just a really cool thing to have on here. We also have wire cutters here in the back of the jaws, and then it's got that section a little further down for I don't know what they call it, like for more heavy duty wire. They're not replaceable like on the rebar, but I've never had to replace these on the rebar ever. So I don't know if, I mean, this is probably not made out of the same stuff that the replaceable ones are, but you know, if I need to cut some heavy duty stuff, I'll just get my wire cutters out. But you know, if you don't have your regular wire cutters with you and you got the Crunch, it'll absolutely cut wire for you. So I mean, ergonomically, it's great too. You know, there's not tools on the outside, so there's nothing really to hurt your hand. I feel this tab a little bit with my my pinky and ring finger, a little bit. It's just really not a hot spot, but I do feel it. Aside from that, really comfortable. Well, let's see. No, I don't really. I was gonna say I kind of feel this, but I don't really. I mean, I feel it. This is really comfortable. A little more comfortable than the rebar, actually. Yeah, it's a little more comfortable than the rebar. I love this tool. I really love this tool. You can also close it one-handed. The best way I found out how to do it is you flick out this handle, and then it breaks that nub out of the thing, the dealio, and then you close that up, grab that, and you're good to go. This thing is awesome. I don't know why they're discontinuing it. It must not be very popular, and I guess that makes sense. Before Diener told me about it, I had never really, I'd never heard about it before. So it's a little bit of a lesser-known Leatherman. So they're discontinuing it. They're probably just selling what they have in stock, and then they're going to be gone forever. So if you're watching this and you think you want one, go get one. Go get one right now. They're about $100, maybe like $110, which I don't know. It might be a little on the pricey side, but I mean, there's a lot of mechanics going on here. There's a lot of moving parts. The rebar is, I think, like 80. So, you know, you're paying a little bit more, but I think it's worth it. Again, I didn't pay for it. Diener did, but I probably would. I definitely would buy one when I could, because it's just, I love it. I really love it. There's another size comparison, the rebar and the Crunch together. And, yeah, like I said, go get one. Another thing is it makes a lot of good sounds. It makes a lot of really good metal clicky sounds, which I'm a huge fan of. I mean, isn't that just amazing? Oops. Come on. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, that'll about do it. If you guys have any more questions about it, let me know. If I forgot something, leave a comment. I replied to almost all comments. So, yeah, give me a comment. Subscribe to the channel. Watch some of my other videos. We do lives every Tuesday and Friday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And let's get to 1,000 subs. We're on the roll. Let's do it. Thanks for watching, folks. I love y'all. And adios.